Okay, guys, here we go. 12 o'clock. Welcome, welcome, everybody. We're just waiting for people to sign in. Good to see you, Caitlin. Emily Salter, thanks for joining us. 12 o'clock. I feel like everyone comes in right at the last minute. We'll give everyone a minute or two to sign in, and we'll go from there. Love it. Got a lot of our Buffini people on today. Drina, good to see you. David Nichols from the brokerage, Kat Tanik. Okay, great. All right, guys. Well, it's 12:01 and we are going to get started today. So thank you for joining us. As you guys know, my name is Carol Foderick. I'm the broker owner of Signature Elite Realty, and I want to thank sincerely each and every one of you for being here today, whether you're joining us live or if you're watching the re-recording afterwards. The fact that you are investing time into understanding how to build structure into your business and how you are elevating the way you serve your clients speaks volumes about the kind of professional that you are. And of course, here at Signature Elite, we are an elite brokerage built for high performing teams and solo agents who are looking to scale with intention, structure, and profitability. So, for those of you who don't know, in addition to running Signature Elite, I also lead the Carol Foderick Real Estate Group. It's one of the top performing teams in Canada. We're annually closing over 500 transactions a year, and everything that we're going to share with you today comes directly from that environment. So, real systems built in real time to support real volume. So, welcome to this month's Signature Systems session. So, today we're going to be focusing on something that is foundational to building a stable, scalable real estate business, but a concept that is often left very unstructured. And that is how to build a business by referral, but with a systematic approach. Because just like great listings, businesses built on working by referral structures do not happen by chance either. They happen through systems, they happen with intention, they happen through with consistency over time. So, in my experience, agents that are building or intend to build businesses by working by referral build businesses by working by referral systems are failing in one of two ways. So we either have a group of agents who don't fully understand that working by referral actually, what it actually looks like in practice. They've heard the concept, they know that it matters, they know that having a sphere of influence is key to having longevity in this business, but they haven't yet seen how it actually translates into a clear, repeatable business model that consistently produces opportunities. And then in the other bucket, we've got the agents who do understand it. They believe in it. They may even be generating business from it already. But where they struggle is in the scalability. Because as your database grows, maintaining meaningful, consistent contact becomes more and more complex. And without structure, it becomes nearly impossible to do well. And this is where most businesses that are built on working by referral begin to lose momentum because without systems, without clearly defined touch points, without a plan that carries across an entire full calendar year, communication becomes insistent. The follow up becomes more reactive than proactive, and relationships are not nurtured at the level that they need to be able to continue to grow a business. So, what we're going to do here today is bring some structure to something that is often left to chance. So, we're going to walk through what a 12-month systematic approach to contact care and community, which is, of course, the foundation that our businesses are built on, what that means, and show you how to build a calendar that allows you to stay consistently connected with your database while positioning yourself as the true professional in your marketplace. Because when this is done properly, your database becomes the most reliable source of business, regardless of what the market is doing. And in a market like the one that we are in today, a level of consistency and predictability is absolutely essential. So, before we want to go any farther, I want to introduce you all to Caitlin Hartley. Some of you will know her already. Caitlin is the number one performing agent at Signature Elite last year. I'm also honored to have her as a member of my real estate group. Caitlin has been in business for 5 years. Tell us a little bit about your story, Caitlin, and how you approach working by referral.
Yeah, thanks, Carol. That was a much nicer introduction than I'd give myself. But I've been in the
So
industry.
hard on yourself, Caitlin.
I was going to say, Carol, I've been with Carol now for the last five, almost going on 6 years now, believe it or not. But I got into real estate. I wouldn't say like the typical agent. Many stories that I've heard have been surrounding, families that have gotten into real estate and then you followed the path of parents or relatives, and that wasn't really my experience. So I went to Humber College and I got my degree in interior design. Worked for an architect for many years. Decided that I wasn't cut out to be an interior designer, and I wanted to do a lot more with my experience. So then I decided to go along with a friend on this real estate journey, like everybody else in 2020, and got licensed through RIA before they closed down, and then I was off to the races.
2019, Caitlin, you were hired and then the pandemic started like one day later.
Yeah. Yeah. I was thrown into the deep end and was forced to figure out how to swim. So, but I've been doing pretty well so far, so I can't complain. Now, fast forward, I think, as Carol mentioned, like I've been working by referral from the very beginning. I've been able to thrive in my business, and the goal is to continue that and expand as much as I can and try to teach others just as much as I've learned so far in my career.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to come back to your numbers in a minute because understanding your numbers is an essential point of working by referral. But I'd also like to introduce Dave Tangana, and he is, as you guys know, our director of marketing here and has graciously agreed to handle the slide deck for us today. So, Dave, thanks for being a part of our presentation today. I'm going to get you to queue up our slide deck and we shall go from there. Are you sharing your screen, Dave? There you go. Love it. Get you popping into presentation mode and we'll go from here. So guys, we've got about 14 slides today. I'm also going to be a little bit of show and share. Can you guys also see me as a talking head? Give me the thumbs up or a yes in the chat if you can. That would be awesome because I'm going to show you some actual physical manifestations of what some of this stuff looks like as well too. So perfect. Thank you, Jocelyn, all the way from Alaska. Love it, Jocelyn. And Jocelyn, you posted something on social media about people like visiting Alaska and then loving it so much that they never wanted to leave. I feel like that would be me. Jocelyn. So I love everything you're doing on social media. So great job, Jocelyn. Okay, so let's get into it. So we're going to talk about elevating your Q2 marketing strategy. So depending on where, what approach to business you have and where you've been in the first quarter, we really want to focus today on how we're going to build out the rest of the year to set you up for success by working by referral. So before we get into it, guys, what is working by referral? So this is a term that I hear thrown around so much, and for different people, it's going to mean different things. Something I really want to highlight, the word working. So often when people hear working by referral, they're like, yes, I want to do that. And they choose it as a lead generation model because it feels maybe more comfortable or warmer and fluffier than something like cold calling or door knocking or geographic farming. But to be clear, working by referral is a structured business model and it is working. And I want to highlight that because really it's not waiting by referral, it's working by referral. We have to do proactive activities in order for the referrals to come in. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So, by definition, working by referral is a relationship based approach to real estate where your business is built by consistently earning introductions from past clients through your network. By building trust, exceptional service, and ongoing intentional contract. It's not about asking for business and it's not about skimming your database for business. It is about becoming the person people naturally think of, recommend, and go back to when real estate comes up. And at its core, it is built on delivering a great experience and staying meaningfully connected with people over time so that your database becomes your primary source of opportunity. So again, for many of you on this call and watching later, you'll be very familiar with the idea of working by referral. But again, I just want to highlight everyone that it is not collecting a group of people or 1,000 names in a database and then figuring out who in that database is going to be buying or selling real estate that year, in any particular year. It is about figuring out who those people know that are going to be doing real estate. And so it's really a multiplying effect. So if you have a database of 100 people and by nature, we know that humans generally are connected to somewhere between 100 and 200 other people that are in their own sphere of influence. You don't are then not in just community with that 100 people. By extension, you are in community with the 100 people that each of your 100 people are in community with. And so that's how the multiplying reach of working by referral works. And we're going to talk about really specific examples of that today. So, Dave, let's flip over to what we're trying to establish before we start working by referral. So, Three things, guys. And it doesn't matter what your approach to selling real estate is. Your clients need to know three things about you before they will agree to work with you in any capacity, whether it's representing them as a buyer, a seller, even answering your real estate questions. They want to know, do you care about me? Can I trust you? And are you good at what you do? Now, this flies in the face a lot of what is being taught in the marketplace, which is, do they know you? And are they impressed by your level of success? This is not what we're trying to establish, guys. At fundamentally, at the core of any relationship, whether you're selling real estate, car insurance, um, something at the grocery store, when a person walks into a grocery store retailer, they want to know, do you care about me? Can I trust you? Are you good at what you do? It is the three primary driving factors that drive all businesses and all business relationships, but also the contact that we need to schedule with people. So, moving on, Dave. All right, let's understand our numbers. So, guys, if and again, if you're working already working on a very well established working by referral business, you will have a clear understanding of this. So, apologies for the over explanation, but for some of you, this will be new. So, if you are currently closing referrals at a rate of 80 to 1, which is a little bit higher than where most people start 60, 65 to 1, and you were ever closing every two of those referrals, it means that you've got a contact to close of 160 to 1. So what does that mean? Every 160 times you are in touch with your database, it is going to generate a closed transaction for you. So to give you an example, if you had a database of 150 people, A pluses, A's, and B's, so these are people that have done transactions with you or referred you multiple times, have done business with you or worked with you once, or would be likely to do business with you if they were shown and taught how to, of about 150 people. And you did 70 contacts with each of those 150 people per year. That would be 10,500 contacts per year, or 160 contacts to close. That means that with 70 contacts per year, you would be averaging somewhere around 65 transactions. Now, if that felt like it went really, really fast for you, I apologize, guys. I'm happy to unpack it with you privately after the fact. But conversion ratios are a really important part of understanding the numbers behind your working by referral business. If people have questions, I'm happy to answer them as we go, which you just put your hand up and I'll jump on and answer your question or pop them into the chat. So understanding your numbers are really important because as we go through the scalability of these models, you're going to understand why we put certain things on the calendar. So, Dave, give me my next slide. Jumping right into it. Okay, so you know what? I'll ask you to go back one for a minute, Dave, before I jump into this. So, understanding your numbers, guys. Before I lead into this, I really just want to highlight that working by referral, and I touched on a few of the other lead generation opportunities before, it has to be a pillar of your business. So, whatever organizing business model you are going to decide to structure your business around, you need to understand exactly what that conversion looks like. So, understanding your numbers, if you were, as an example, a door knocking agent, might look like knowing how many doors you need to knock before somebody is likely to answer, how many answered doors you need to have in a day, and how many meaningful conversations you have with people that answer those doors, additions to your database, potential for business, that sort of thing. And then what your conversion from each of those knocked doors are. If you were a geographic farmer, you would have understanding of how many mail pieces or how many community events you would need to do to be able to generate a potential for business. So to be clear, regardless of what sort of lead generation model your business is built on, you're going to really need to understand your numbers. So this is the blueprint for what it looks like. Caitlin is going to take us really quick. I just want to jump in here, Caitlin, because you've got a lot of clarity around your numbers. And at any given time, guys, everybody at our brokerage can tell us exactly what your contacts to referrals, referrals to close, and contacts to close are. We actually take it a step farther and break down exactly what our each of our dollar value per contact is, so that helps
Yeah.
to really frame productivity.
For sure. Yeah. Thanks, Carol. As you mentioned, just contacts to referrals. I know the example provided seems quite high in comparison to my numbers. Like right now, my contacts to referral as of today are at 36 to 1. So in every contact that I make, 36 of them, I'm expected to get at least one referral out of it. And my referrals to close is at 2 to 1. So that also means now in terms of the number of contacts versus a closed transaction, I'm up to 72 contacts to one closed transaction. Down to the dollar value, that works out to about $159 and change per call, which is, I mean, quite high relative to,
Yeah,
I
Caitlin,
think,
I think
the
it's
rest
really
of our
important
space.
because, and of course, we're not compensated by the call, right? Because if I told everybody on this call that if you go out and make 10 calls today, you're going to be cashing a paycheck for $159 for every time you picked up someone, people would literally hang up and just go do that. It's more obscure and a little more abstract than that because, of course, that's not the way that we're compensated. Sometimes months and months go by from the time that you make that call to receiving the referral converting into a potential for a transaction, working with it as an active transaction, getting it under contract, and then closing it and cashing that paycheck. How does understanding your dollar per call, Caitlin, help you to stay focused on your daily lead generation activities?
Yeah, I was going to say to your point, I mean, yes, we're compensated by commissions, but ultimately it's like that dollar value usually is sometimes even triple that. If I really broke it down based on the hours invested into my database and working by referral and dripping on all of my A pluses, A's and B's. Um, I think above anything else, the most important thing to that I find motivates me when it comes to following the Buffini referral maker system is the amount of contacts, like going as far out, because I'm very global. I'm very much a global thinker. So I look at, well, if I know if I do 70 contacts per year, to everyone in my A pluses, A's and B's, that works out to about 29,000 contacts. And if I go every month now, I need to make at least, 500 calls, notes, or pop-bys. I can at least go back to our marketing calendar, break out, the action steps that I'm going to do. So it doesn't feel so overwhelming. And usually I end up exceeding that number. So, yeah.
Great. So, Caitlin, you've talked on this term of CNP or calls, notes, and pop-bys. And for the Buffini people on this call and watching later, they'll be very familiar with that. It's been my experience that a lot of people interacting with this system at a lower level focus on just what do I need to do this week. When you're talking about maintaining a database of hundreds of people, and Caitlin, like yours, your database currently, including your C's, is how big?
Close to about 900
Yeah, so
contacts.
mine's about 1600. So you can see it becomes really challenging to, scale that on an ongoing basis and staying in meaningful community with those people. So let's get into it, guys. When we sit down at the beginning of every quarter, and we do this in advance. So myself, Caitlin, Dave, our director of marketing, and my director of client community, Rachel, who I'll talk about her role a little bit later, we sit down and pre-plan what our contacts are going to look like for the number ahead. Do you want to kind of speak to that a little bit, Caitlin, about what those
Yeah,
marketing meetings look like? Because I think this
for
is a
sure.
breakaway from a lot of agents who are just sort of doing it on the fly every week, figuring out what they're going to call or pop by about.
Yeah, I think just to go back to the pre-quarterly meetings that we have, these are generally booked about 2 to 3 weeks before we're starting the new quarter, so that we're well ahead of what's to come. Because we've been doing this for many years, it's a little bit more streamlined in a sense, but I still think 3 weeks is plenty of time to kind of get ahead of what's going to happen in the next 3 months. So when we sit down and we have this meeting, it's about 2 to 3 hours long because we're unpacking what went really well in the last quarter, what needs improvement, and how we can refine the marketing calendar for next time. So we're reflecting, refining, and then executing on the marketing calendar. I actually have a copy of kind of like a breakdown of one. It's hard to see actually because of my background, but yeah, we basically go back and back, I would say, back out kind of every single week what the activity is so that we know exactly what we're doing the week coming. If you want to go as far as creating an Excel spreadsheet, you definitely can. If you're a more visual person, you print it out, you have it on your desk like me. I find that works best. Not everyone's like that. But yeah, that's kind of what our quarterly meetings look like, I would say, in a nutshell.
Yeah, and I think it's important to recognize, Caitlin, it also gives you the opportunity logistically to not feel like you're swinging off your back foot. So that is a golf term for, being unprepared for what's ahead of you. So that gives Dave and our other operations people at the brokerage and on the team the opportunity to like order the create the media assets that we're going to need, to be able to thoughtfully craft and review everything before it goes out, to be able to order our pop buys, to be able to create our events, which obviously organization of events that, involve 1,500 guests take sometimes months to organize. So backing out your calendar well in advance, and certainly having a good understanding of what it's going to look like for the entirety of the year, and then building out very specific information or tasks quarter by quarter certainly helps a lot. So
I
I'm going to
think,
go in. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Caitlin.
no, I was going to say, so I think what's helped a lot versus the whole year being planned out in advance, it's more intentional when you're looking at it from a quarterly perspective versus, okay, we're at January or sorry, December last week of, and we're planning for the next 12 months, which there's only so much you can prepare for. I think because we've been doing them quarterly, it's helped be a little bit more intentional. We're rolling with what the changes in the marketplace have and making sure that when we're doing seminars, when we're having master classes and things like that, it's relative, I would say, and it's on brand with what's going on in the marketplace.
So we're going to talk about the 9 things that go into our marketing calendar every single year. Some of them are on monthly repeats, some are once a year, sometimes they happen, quarterly. We're going to go through that in detail and really break out how many contacts. So again, a lot of people can be really overwhelmed by the idea of like 10,000 contacts per year, or 70 contacts per client per year. That can seem really overwhelming. I want to remind you guys, if we were tasked with calling our clients 70 times a year, that would make us a telemarketer. That's not what we're intending to do. If you were to pop by 70 times a year to your clients and see them, that makes you a stalker. That's not what we're intending here. But as you can see, when we spread out contact over 9 different types of touch points, it doesn't make us any of those negative things. It makes us rock stars at being able to stay in touch with our database and being consistent about it so that we are there when the need for real estate arises, either for themselves or for somebody that they know. So let's go through them. Dave, next slide. All right. So, first of all, Popeye campaigns. So, there was a time when, as some of you will be doing now, that Popeyes were handled sort of week by week. The challenge for this, of course, is that Popeyes can take a big chunk of your week. And the challenge, of course, is that geographically, they're often quite spread out. My team serves the Greater Toronto area, which from end to end incorporates 80 kilometers, or about, I don't know, what is that, about 50 miles, in 3 directions north of the lake. We also have traffic gridlock. So from getting to see a client from one end of the city or one end of the Greater Toronto area to the other could take a really long time. So batching our Popeye campaigns has been a very effective way to be intentional about seeing a lot of people in a short period of time, because you're going to see everyone in a specific geographic area all on one day. We do 2 batch Popeye campaigns a year. One of them is at Christmas. I have some examples here, which I'll show you. This was our Christmas Popeye last year. It was a bottle of maple syrup. That's the most Canadian thing you can give somebody. This year it was hand soap that we did, and it's obviously very branded to our group. These are something that are provided to all of the agents on our team, and our signature elite agents are doing some version of this for themselves as well. So the Popeye Blitzes are twice a year. One of them at Christmas time or in and around the holidays. And we're very intentional with when we do it. It is done the first week of December because we want to get in front of our clients immediately before they start connecting in person with all of their network for the events that tend to happen around Christmas, Passover. Passover is a spring thing. I apologize. Hanukkah, for New Year's, for Christmas or end of year office parties. So we're very intentional about the fact that our first Popeye Blitz happens at the beginning of December. We want our people to have warm and happy feelings about us right before they're about to get in community with all of their community. The second Popeye Blitz that we do is in the last week of June. And we do it because the conversations that we're having with our clients and the referrals that come in the early part of July set us up for our September market. So for our fall market. So a lot of the conversations that we're having with people at that time will directly produce the business that comes in to get us through to the end of the year. And that's why, we typically have such strong third and fourth quarters. It's because we're putting in a huge blitz. Caitlin, do you want to speak a little bit about how you manage our pop by blitzes from your perspective? Because you're typically popping by, 250, Caitlin, in an
Yeah,
average year.
a give or take, sometimes more if I feel like it. But so the way that I handle it, I'd say I'm looking at it from, okay, beginning of the month. If I know second week we're supposed to be receiving the Popeyes, I'm preparing my lists. I have that in place. I know exactly the messaging that I'm going to be writing in the cards, for example, to accompany the gift. And then I print out my database. So luckily, Referral Maker has been great to give you kind of like a map, closest to furthest. I can map it out geographically, East GTA, North, West, and South. And then I'll just tackle them that way, right? I'll dedicate a day, or if I'm in a specific neighborhood where I know clients of mine are, and I'm showing properties, I'll use that as an opportunity to go by and drop off my Popeyes as well.
Got it.
Um,
So we focus our Popeyes, yeah, A pluses, A's, and I would say some B's, maybe about half your B's, Caitlin, typically are what I would call a B plus. There isn't a technical definition of those people, but as an example. So we're popping by. We're also doing a phone call before to let them know we're coming. We're doing a video email to let them know as a group that they can expect to hear from us, or a video follow-up. And then we're also sending a video text. So why is it important for our clients to see our face? And you'll see this theme of video over and over and over again, whether it's video text, video email, phone calls, FaceTime. You'll see it a lot because it's important for us for our clients to hear our voice and see our face. It's really easy to become lost behind a brand or become sort of anonymous, especially when you're scaling these things at bulk. They still need to be reminded that there is a personal connection behind it. Now, for some people, you can make these personal. For my A's and A pluses, I do try to make them personal. When you're doing, I think I did 480 pop buys last year. It's not possible for me to create video text for every single one when they're being dropped off. But the more personal you can make it, the better. When we're coming up with all of these 9 things that we're going to talk about, and I'll just sidestep here for a minute, guys. Anybody who knows me well knows that I talk about this a lot. The idea of our contact care and community with our database is based on a book called The Five Love Languages. The Five Love Languages has been adapted to many different scenarios, including the Five Love Languages of business, which is what we've foundationally built this on. But it is the idea that all humans give and receive love in one of 5 ways. So, physical gifts. So Popeyes are a great manifestation of that, right? So people don't care even what it is you're bringing. They just love the fact that you brought them a little bit of something. So physical gifts, quality time. So again, the fact that you took time out of your day to pop by and see your client, absolutely key here. Acts of service. We do try to give them something that is going to be of value. I know some people will drop by with like 2 chocolates and a little note card. I'm trying to drop them off something that is actually substantial or of value, of a quality item that they're going to use. Words of affirmation, which is our ability to express gratitude face to face, or at least written in the card. And then finally, physical touch, which is the one that everyone laughs about because they're like, yeah, I'm not into, being physically intimate with my real estate professional. Not what we're suggesting here, guys. But for the people who physical touch is an important aspect of giving and receiving love, this is the opportunity to give you a hug or a handshake or those. Are we still doing fist pumps, Caitlin? I don't know. I feel like that was a pandemic thing, but no fist pumps. Caitlin says
I'm
no.
shaking hands.
Shaking hands, whatever it is, guys, but it's the ability to actually create physical connection with somebody. And so when we're building out these campaigns annually, it is important to respect 5 love languages. It's also important to respect the fact that some people are aesthetic in nature, which means it is, the warm and fuzzy, light touches that are going to compel them to feel good things about you as a real estate professional. And then you have the pragmatics or the analytical people, which Caitlin and I share a common theme of. We are the people that need to know numbers. We need to see professionalism. We need to see real information in order there to find value. So we're going to see a mix throughout these 9 different touch points that work through both. So again, the purpose, if we come back to the idea of trust, care, and competency, pop buys, we're not really talking about real estate, although real estate will come up at the door very often. What we're creating is trust with the consistency that they know that year in and year out, they're going to hear from you, and to show care with the fact that you're grateful. And this isn't just for, a specific transaction. It's grateful for their ongoing support of your business. And you can use language that sounds like that. And then again, know your numbers, guys. So with that 150, pop buys, considering that you're going to do it twice a year and there's 8 touches around those 2 pop buys. Again, 7.5 transactions using our sample conversion numbers. So if you're looking for an example of how this actually turns into real business, this is the mathematical equation that it's going to give you. So if you have a database that's bigger than this, or you're doing more touch points, or you're doing more pop buys to those people, then obviously your numbers are going to be high. But at the face of it, 7.5 transactions. Let's talk about what's next, Dave. Batched pop buy campaigns. Mailed item of value. So I love this, guys, because it doesn't require a ton of energy or a ton of effort. Caitlin is the queen of mailed item of value. So, Caitlin, I'm going to show some examples of stuff that both you and I have done in the last couple of months. And a mailed item of value is something that is going to go out by physical mail and it's going to be addressed to your clients. For us, we do A pluses, A's, and B's. They are done 4 times a year. The A's, and we may vary what it is that each group gets. So the A's may get something a little bit more expensive or a little bit more substantial. But the way that we structure it is the same. So A pluses, A's, and B's will all get the mailer in the mail. They're going to get a phone call. They're going to get a video emailer. And then often my A's and A pluses will also get a video text. So I'll add an additional touch point for some of those. Again, we're creating trust with consistency. And we're also using it as an example to show competency in the marketplace and what that means. So this is what I did. I don't know if you guys can see this. It's a little postcard that says real estate isn't just about luck. And on the back it says, while a little luck is always nice, real estate success is built on experience, strategy, and working with one of North America's top real estate teams. Thank you for the trust you continue to place in us. And please remember, I'm never too busy to take wonderful care of your friends, family, and referrals. May the luck of the Irish be with you this St. Patrick's Day. And then we mailed them a little charm. I got so much great feedback about this, guys. And again, if you're following your numbers, mailing 150 4 times a year with 8 touch points is going to generate another 7.5 transactions. Here's another example of another one that I did recently. And again, it's talking about the buzz. It's a little honey stick, like the ones you get like when you go to Starbucks. And this was super cheap. The cost, including mailing of these, was less than $3 each. And it was talking about the buzz in the real estate market. So these are our mailed item of values or like mailed pop buys. A little bit less personal than going to see somebody with something a little bit more expensive, but a great way to scale contact. Anything you want to chat about this, Caitlin? Because you're always
No, I
mailing.
was gonna say no. It's more a keeping top of mind. I guess item of value for me in my eyes. It's not so stagnant. It still speaks to the aesthetic and pragmatists that we have in our database that appreciate the level of, I mean, service offering, but it kind of in a unique way. I think the best feedback that I receive from these specifically is that it's not your standard, okay, here's what's sold, here's what's for sale. It's different than anything that they've ever received before, and it's what leaves a lasting impression, which is what you want.
Got it. Thanks, Caitlin. Moving on, Dave. Okay, my favorite are giveaways. So we do 2 major giveaways a year. Giveaways, if you're running a team like mine, are a really easy way to scale contact and to get big engagement. Now, it's not really used to create an immersion in competency. Really, what we're doing is that we're creating a fun, light touch point, which is very easy for agents to engage with their clients with. We get very, very high participation, over 1,000 registrations for this. What we are using this primarily for is we are using it to complete or update contacts in Referral Maker or in our CRM. So using it for an opportunity to fully populate, maybe their cell phone number has changed, maybe their email address has changed. In private information that is sometimes sensitive for people want to share with people. If you put a $500 or $400 gift card in front of them, they will give you everything. It's no surprise, Caitlin, and I'm sure you can speak to this about why so many people get taken advantage of online scams. People love free stuff and they are willing to give a lot of information just for the chance to win something. And so we get huge participation in this. It allows us to complete the database. So we do 2 of these a year. One is the Super Bowl because it's a great time, early January. We're reconnecting. We're having conversations with people about real estate. just as the spring market is starting to roll out. The second one we do is in July, and we do something called the Best Summer Ever giveaway. And it's where we do a series of giveaways using one registration link all throughout the summer. So it provides structure for our agents over the summer to continue to stay in touch with people at a time when, real estate is slow and a lot of people are not really turning their mind to real estate. Do you want to speak to this, Caitlin, at all?
Yeah, I was gonna say, and then I guess the third one would be the home services giveaway, which is also a really huge turnout that we get, but that's towards the end of the year into 20, well, the following year. Yeah, giveaways are great. I mean, as you mentioned, it's just more so database completion, I would say, above anything else. Next to that, it's expanding the database. So if you have people that you find there's not been much referrals generated at this time, but you're looking at a soft way to get a referral out of them, this is an amazing, I would say, action item to add to your marketing calendar because it gives you the opportunity to make connections with people that also want to win free stuff, right? And a little bit more of a relational way of building, your database as well. But then you
Got
can
it.
get into all the marketing and things like that, of course.
And if done well, again, using our same conversion ratio, 5.6 transactions.
Yeah.
So again, and what does it cost you guys? $400. We do a mailer for this. We do a mailer, a phone call, a video text, a video email. It goes on social media as well. And then we do a thank you note or a pop by with a phone call for anyone who didn't win. So just some other small item of value. This generates a huge amount of business. And for those of you that run teams that are participating in this, I'm going to really encourage you to lean into the giveaways because it's one thing that is offered to a giant group of people and allows all the agents on your team to be able to leverage the same sign up sheet, the same gift pack. And again, it's just a really easy way to get your agents to engage with their database. We did a Super Bowl giveaway and worked out the math on the back end of this. And we generated last year I think last year we did a $500 gift card. And last year we generated somewhere in the range of $360,000 worth of closed transactions from the efforts around the Super Bowl giveaway. And it was $500 plus mailing costs and printing costs. So very, very good ROI on the giveaways. What's next, Dave? Caitlin, do you want to talk about this anniversary and birthday cards? You're also doing this
Yeah.
really well.
Yeah, so anniversary and birthday cards. So those are done, of course, every single month, usually the last Friday of every month, at least for my calendar. I would say timing, it's just when their birthdays come around. That's also part of the whole giveaway slide that we just went through. So that's where you'd likely get information like when their birthdays are. You would get it from transaction history if they've done FinTrack with you. This is a personal handwritten card sent in the mail. You can decide to give them something. You don't necessarily have to. For a lot of, I would say in the last year we used to give candles, but the candles came out like
They
confetti
would
when
get
they
they would get
arrived.
crushed, Caitlin. And so if you
Yeah,
gave somebody and it was just a very simple like single birthday candle, which people
yeah,
thought was so fun, but when it get rolled through the mailing machines, they would get crushed. And then our clients would call and be like, "Have you sent me cocaine for my birthday?"
yeah.
It was hilarious. I
Or
loved it.
or they would still send it to me and go, "Wow, thank you so much for sending me my candle." I'm like, "This is the saddest text I've received today."
But we
Um,
previously, and so we used to do like happy birthday
yeah,
chocolate bars. There's a local manufacturer here in Toronto that produces like these happy birthday bars, but then we could only do that seasonally because in the summer the chocolate would melt. So
no, yeah.
whatever, if you're going to mail something, be sure that it's light. Very often like lotto cards or like scratch tickets.
Ideally,
There's
not a non-perishable.
yeah, non-perishable, yeah, something like that. So, but this is a really fun way, guys. And again, it's light, it's easy. You can batch them. You can sit down at the beginning of your month and literally write them all out, and then it can create multiple touch points. So, using our conversion numbers, 1.8 transactions out of this. So, as
Yeah,
you've
and for
been
the
watching
word,
along, as you've been wondering where these 65 transactions are going to come from, you're going to see it's a combined effect of all of these contacts.
yeah, and for the
Okay.
words of affirmation and give people like this speaks to that. Both love languages.
It's
Very, very.
also surprise and delight. How often do people, after the age of, 13 or 14, how often are we recognizing people's birthdays? I mean, sure, you'll like tag somebody on, social media and be like, happy birthday. It's not the same as actually getting something in the mail. I often get calls and messages from people to say your birthday card was the only one that I received. So, something
Yeah.
to think about, guys. Okay, now we're getting into the meaty part, and this is my favorite one, probably because I'm pragmatic and analytical. But the next one is one that we have had a tremendous amount of success, and these are the master classes. So, Big lead generation efforts for our group in and around this. We run somewhere between 5 and 6 per year. They are different topics and they're usually very timely on what's happening right now. They are not all real estate related. And I'll give you a few examples of ones that we have done in the past that we've had huge turnout for. Last month, we had about 350 clients registered for our wills and estates one. So that's where we have one of our preferred lawyer partners come on and present our clients, what's new with wills and estates, what you should know, answer all of your questions. It's an opportunity for them to pick the brain of a lawyer for free. And the lawyer that we hosted it with was gracious enough to give somebody, we did a draw at the end of the masterclass for a free wills and estates package, which was valued at like $1,300. So a huge amount of turnout. We got great involvement. This one that you're looking at the ad for, this was one we did talking to people in the Greater Toronto Area about the changing landscape of Toronto's housing market because we now have the most permissible land use anywhere in North America, where most homeowners can build between 5 and 6 residential units on every single lot, which I know if you're watching from outside of the GTA is going to seem astounding to you. And it's astounding for a lot of people in Toronto, which is why we had great turnout for this. We'll also usually do something around taxation. We're getting ready to do one involving home insurance, another one involving life insurance. And the goal here, really, guys, is to establish ourselves as part of their ongoing financial and professional circle. So rather than just being the one-hit wonder that comes in and helps them, navigate the purchase of a home or the lease of a home or the sale of an asset, this is where we stay connected to them and we become the conduit by which they get other professional information. So it establishes professional competency, but it also provides for creating trust and care when they see that we're not only interested in serving them from a real estate perspective. And then the most important thing, it creates referability, guys. So if they know that I can be the portal, connect them with all of these other professional services, I become the go-to for like, hey, you know what? I do need to get my will updated. Carol, can you recommend somebody? And so we talk about that. We do this a lot. So 5 to 6 a year. There are 4 touches per event. So it's going to be somewhere between 20 and 24 when done well. And again, this is where you are going to set yourself apart from most other professionals in your industry. We are doing this agent, our example agent, is doing 18 transactions directly from the conversations relating specifically to the master classes. We call them master classes because it's more fun and exciting sounding than seminar. Sometimes we do them during the day, sometimes we do them in the evening. If you have questions about that, I'm happy to answer. And these are signature elite sponsored events. So we host them on behalf of our brokerage, not my real estate team, and everybody at Signature Elite Realty gets to invite their clients, and we have protocol for following up. And it's just a great way to be able to create referability at a high level. Okay,
I
master
was gonna
classes.
say,
Caitlin, do you want to speak to master classes? Because
yeah,
you
I
always
was
have
gonna
huge
say,
engagement.
if nothing else, I mean, this gives you the reason to call your clients. I know as agents, we often mention, like in passing, hey, if you need anyone that, that's going to assist you with work to the house, we have contractors or we have insurance brokers. But I find it goes over their head by showing up in service and providing them with master classes by knowledgeable, skilled professionals. And I would say at the highest in their industries. I mean, that just showcases, to Carol's point, you're really good at what you do, but also you have amazing and trustworthy contacts. You're not just claiming that, you're showcasing it.
And again, your preferred vendors will often be very excited about partnering with you to be able to give away some version of their services, usually translating to like thousands of dollars simply for the opportunity to get in front of your clients, which is great. I think it resulted in something like 36 consultations for the lawyer that did the seminar, and they were very happy to give away one for the opportunity to connect. So, but again, guys, really just an opportunity to show up in service for your people. What's next, Dave? Following on our theme of establishing yourself as the market professional. Oh, there we go. Regular market video updates. So this is important, guys. We always do this by video. If you send an email with a market update that is generic, 99% of the time it just gets deleted. It's probably actually higher than that. The engagement is very, very low. But if you record it and send it as a video to your database en masse, it is the watch rate is exceptional. We get somewhere between 30 and 40% watch rate, which is an unheard of open rate for email marketing. So again, it's a little bit less personal than if you were having one-on-one phone conversations. So we usually recommend people in an ideal world that you're going to follow up to say like, hey, I sent you the market update. Just want to make sure you got it. This is no pressure. This is I always liken to this to like getting your bank statement every month. I have investment accounts and I get statements from those investment accounts every single month. So the expectation is that if you can establish yourself as a professional, your clients would like to hear from you on updates of what's happening with their largest asset in a meaningful way. And it has to be timely, guys. So you can't record it, once a year and expecting it to land. The market is moving faster than that. So we do this to the entirety of our databases, A pluses, A's, B's, and C's. We'll film the video, we'll follow up with a phone call to make sure that they got it. And again, number of touches, 12 to 24. So if you have, and so high level of touches around this, if you have that 150 person database and you're doing this regularly and you're emailing them and calling them to see if they have any questions about it, you're probably generating somewhere around 22 transactions just out of the regular video market updates. Video market updates alone will not do it. They'll get watched. There'll be no opportunity for speaking. The key here is that you have to do the phone call with it as well too. And again, you're establishing yourself as a trusted professional, and showing people that you're good at what you do, and showing up with consistency every single month also speaks to the care and the trust component as well. Also, really important if you guys are, the team leaders on this call, if you are training people, it gives agents who might not otherwise be confident about talking about the market fluidly. It gives them the opportunity to practice this and do it in front of their clients. The follow-up calls, answering questions about this is practice. I always say, guys, we do our lead generation not just for the business that it brings us, but for the agents that it makes of us. And this is true for all of our team agents who are perhaps newer, less experienced in the business. They practice saying these things and explaining these concepts with their clients over and over again, so that when the same topic comes up in the midst of an offer negotiation or when they're doing a showing with the client, they have an easy, quick, fast response to it because they know this information backwards and forwards. Because if the first time they're saying it is when it really, really matters and they stumble on it, their chances of losing a client or losing a transaction is very high. So again, this is the practice, and the day-to-day conversations where a huge amount of your business is going to be generated. Super important, guys. Regularly stay in touch with your clients about what is happening in the market. We also build these videos out to talk about other things we're doing in the marketing calendar at the same time. Hey, have you signed up for our Super Bowl giveaway? Hey, have you registered for our client appreciation event? Hey, we've got a masterclass coming up as well too. So you can often stack some of this contact as well, which is great, but super important. And it's monthly, guys. Okay, Dave, moving on. Client appreciation events. So I know for everybody, this looks a little bit different. Caitlin and I have done various versions of these events for, different times of the year. Typically, we're doing two of them a year, and typically they're very, very large. So this is a photo invitation from the last one we did. It was a client appreciation event where we had our clients come and bring their families to a beautiful historic venue where they had professional photographers take family portraits of everyone. The touches around the client events are very high. So typically 8 per event, and that includes a mailer, a phone call, multiple phone calls usually, like, are you coming? Checking to see if you can come. Thank you for coming. A video text, a video email. There's social media posts, and there's a thank you note or a pop by with a phone call following it. So it allows us to stack a lot of contact. A lot of people will host a client appreciation event and say, oh, well, I don't think my people are going to be interested, so I'm not going to call them. It is not about whether or not they come to take their pictures taken. We did do another huge one at the Rogers Center where we take like 1,500 people to the Blue Jays game. It is not about whether they like baseball. It's not about whether they're in town to come to it. It is the contact and care and the community that you are building around the invitation, or just having somebody know that you're thinking of them to include them, regardless of their intention to show up or not. So really important. 15 transactions out of this if it's properly done and you're running to a year. Doesn't have to be big, it doesn't have to be expensive, but it does have to be intentional and you do have to create multiple points of contact around it. Caitlin, do you want to speak about client appreciation events for a minute? Because you always get great
Yeah.
turnout.
Yeah. I think, yeah, 8 touch points. I mean, you can go even further than that if you'd like. But I think just with the personal mailed invitation, right? Follow-up calls to the email that was sent out with the video to say you're invited. And then to make sure that once they've registered, they're acknowledged, right? Like, thank you so much for registering. Even when they're at the event, that's considered, face to face, pop by or reverse pop by is what we call it. They've come to you. And the conversations will flow naturally to real estate. I find people bring it up themselves. It's not anything that I mean, it's not as if we're at the client appreciation event and talking strictly about real estate. And as you mentioned, right, it's brand awareness. So putting a face to the name and associating you with real estate.
This is the one we actually have our second one of the year coming up on Saturday. We're calling this Home Ice a signature client appreciation experience. We have rented Maple Leaf Gardens. So if you're from Toronto, you will know this is the Cathedral of Hockey, where one of the original six hockey team plays, a very, very iconic venue. We're expecting about 500 people to come to this, but the amount of lead generation around it was huge. So again, um, when you multiply the cost of an event out of the 15 transactions that this one agent is going to generate from it, you can see why it makes a lot of sense to hold them. Again, it's not about do I like skating? Do my clients like to skate? Are they going to want to come to this? It is around the thoughtfulness of inviting them to something. Dave, what's next? And also, I will just say, guys, this is a fun and easy way to connect with your database at a time when a lot of the conversations involving real estate right now, at least here in Canada, are going to be hard. So, listing emails. So, this is another one of our ongoing monthly emails that go out. So, there's 12 a year, 12 touches a year. It goes out to the entirety of our databases. And it is our intention to show ourselves to our clients that we are trusted professionals that are good at what we do, both in the fact that we're promoting our listings, actively seeking buyer clients for our listings, and that we're beautifully presenting our listings to the marketplace. It is an opportunity to show up with consistency. And again, our seller clients really want to hear this. We're able to go into listing appointments and tell them that it's going to be marketed across 20 agents' databases. And it also allows us to put in a call to action in the listing emails about whether or not they have anybody who's looking for a house or specific asks or needs for clients that are looking for particular houses in particular neighborhoods. We create a high degree of shareability. We also we've recently changed our listing emails to have a trivia component on it. So there's two-way interaction. Caitlin, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I find it's gotten a lot more engagement. So instead of it just being here's what's currently for sale or for lease, it's also like a fun, I'd say like GTA related questionnaire that people can answer to if they know, when the CN Tower was built, that was one of the first ones that we ever did. And it got a lot of responses back. And then by getting engagement there, we were able to send something personal in the mail to them, and there was some sort of report or topic to go based off of when we were calling the next time around.
Yeah, perfect. So listing email is really important, guys. I want to discourage you from doing one listing email for every single listing. I get emails from other agents that are in my Outlook community, and it's fairly obnoxious. I don't need to get a listing email every single day from you to know that you're a working professional. I don't open them. I end up deleting most of them. I find putting them all in one place, doing it really well, and creating some opportunity for a two-way connection is far more beneficial than getting it. That's how you just get people to unsubscribe to your email. If what you're sending them is just spam or it's auto-generated content, it's a problem. And I will say this because, Buffini and Company does a lot of things really well. But if you're a Buffini agent and you're watching this, your automatic items of value, especially if you're, working with a referral network where you're trying to generate referrals, come up with something else to send to your referral network because I get about 25 of those emails a month, the exact same thing, and it just looks inauthentic. So I think that's just really important that you guys are aware that if you're building a referral network out of your Buffini contacts, figure out something else to share with your referral network. Okay, Dave. And then last, segment specific content. This is interesting, and this is something I think that we should be leaning more into. I'll give you an example. We specifically created a group in our databases, that was a tenant group and then a landlord group. You may also choose to do a downsizers group, a first-time buyers group. This is the opportunity to produce and share specific content that is segmented into to a particular market that you're trying to drive home. Because if I send a first-time buyer seminar invite to somebody who is getting ready to downsize, it's probably not going to be, well regarded. It's not going to be interacted with. I'll give you an example with our tenant group, what it usually looks like. Two articles that are specific to Ontario residential tenancy law, a recording of our first time buyers, a master class that we recently did, and a list of all of the rental properties that we currently have listed that they could share with a friend or a family member who's looking to make a migration into another leased property, or examples of properties that we have for sale that can be carried for less than rent. So it compels people to engage with our marketing calendar in a way that helps them to think about the future. So yes, it is intended to be of service to people who are in rental, but our underlying motivation there is to move them into home ownership. Similarly, with the landlord group, we have a specific landlord or property owners group. We talk about changes to, Ontario housing law. And then we also unpack, what's changing in the marketplace. We share investment property listings that we currently have with that group. And it's just really a way to show up intentionally with them and get them thinking about when their next acquisition of another rental property is going to be. So segment specific content. Now, okay, and so those are the nine guys. Those are the nine things that come hell or high water. These nine things are going onto our marketing calendar. We have tried other things that we have done and then pulled off the marketing calendar. These are the most impactful ones. The only other one that has not made it on this list because we're still working through the logistics of this is a once a year detailed CMA that goes specifically to our client database that speaks to them about our the values of their home in this current market. And we're just working out the logistics of how we do that because combined we have 10,000 people in our databases. So we need to figure out how to do that in an effective way. But I would say if you were going to add a 10th, that would be one where it's specific property value for specific owners. Maybe you're just doing it for your A pluses and A's if that's scalable. But I would say that is the 10th one. So those are the nine things that every year go on our marketing calendar. Caitlin, is there anything you want to share in general about the way that, and you can stop screen sharing now, Dave. I appreciate that. Is there anything that you want to speak to Caitlin about how you've interacted with this marketing calendar as a group agent?
Yeah, I mean, to your point, I think for anyone that's listening, you may absorb this information and be rah, 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 ready to go, like implement this today. I think, and then the other side is like people that are deer in the headlights and they're overwhelmed by the idea that, oh my God, you're doing 9 touch points, almost every single month. I think the important thing to note is that if you're adding one additional thing to what you're already doing, that's an improvement. Of course, if you're able to run at this level, it's obviously much better. You see the results almost immediately. I would say within the first 3 to 6 months if you're doing it correctly. And for me, it's honestly I'd say done very well for me, like tenfold. I've been able to generate so much business where that I've had to delegate business to like colleagues of mine, which is a good place to be in. But it took me, I would say, a few years to really get my head around the idea of what works for me versus what doesn't as part of the marketing calendar. Some people will take the 9 touch points and then add another three. Some may only be able to handle the nine at first. So go at your own pace is,
If you could pick one, Caitlin, what would it be? Because for me, I would say pop buys, the most
yeah,
meaningful
I agree.
moving the needle of your business. It would be pop buys. If you do nothing else, get in front of your people twice a year.
And it's 2 touch points, right? It's face to face, it's voice to voice. If you're an intentional person, like I personally find my superpower as per my coach is sitting down, having coffees face to face and having more intimate conversations, I guess. That has helped build my business a lot more than any other touch point that I've done in the
Got
marketing.
it. So yeah, I love that, Caitlin. So again, don't feel overwhelmed, guys. You can do all of this. You can do none of this. You can do something that's not on this. I just encourage you to consider the fact that we're trying to build yourself as a professional that demonstrates capability in this marketplace specifically. that builds trust with them, and that builds care. And those last two come with consistency. So whatever you're going to do, take baby steps and choose one thing and do it really, really well, and then add to it, as opposed to trying to do all nine and then falling flat on your face. Now, I do also want to highlight that Caitlin and I and the other agents on our group are not creating this alone. As the group leader for the Carol Foddick Real Estate Group, and it's for the broker of record Signature Elite, it is my responsibility to build these systems that our group and our brokerage agents can scale. So we talked a little bit about the stuff that we provide for the brokerage agents. So we're creating the master classes, which is a huge, huge driver for a lot of transactions that come through the brokerage. It will be those master classes. So all that the brokerage agents are required to do. We even provide the non-branded marketing that you can either put your own branding on or just use the Signature Elite branding. But it's meant to highlight you as an agent, and it's done completely for you. If you did only that in a year, got your clients to the master classes, the clients will feel well supported, and you'll have a high ability to convert. But behind the scenes, we do have a lot of people and a lot of hands on the back end of our marketing calendar, because here at our group, we don't buy leads. We don't door knock, we don't cold call, we don't really circle prospect. The only thing that we're doing is staying in touch with our database, and we're doing it at a very, very high level, which is how we're able to close 500 transactions a year when the average agent in our marketplace is doing less than 10. So we're just operating at a very, very high level, but all scalable systems that anybody on this call is able to do as well. I want to talk to you guys for a minute about what's coming next. Last month, as you probably know, we had our hugely popular listing systems breakdown with Cole Bartel. And I want to talk to you about how we're translating that into next month's training. But before we wrap up, I just really want to thank each and every one of you guys for being here to get today. Whether you joined us live or whether you're watching after, your willingness to just take a step back to build structure into your business and to elevate how you care for your database speaks volumes about the kind of professionals that you are. I know we've had a bunch of Signature Elite team agents and team leaders on the call. Thank you guys for your commitment to operating a higher standard. The level of intention and consistency and care that I see you guys bringing to your business is just amazing, and it's just an honor to be in business with you at the brokerage level. And to build businesses alongside of you. But I want to speak directly for a moment for the Ontario agents who are maybe watching, whether or not you're part of our brokerage yet. This is the hardest market that we have ever faced in the history of organized Canadian real estate. And what we talked about today, the shift from sort of casual, again, inconsistent communication to a structured 12-month system of contact care and community, it's no longer optional, guys. In a market like this, it's the agents that are winning, that are the ones who are not just working harder, but they're operating with systems, and great systems built into the back of their businesses. Because when your database is nurtured consistently and intentionally, it will become a reliable source of business regardless of what the market is doing. But it requires structure, and it requires accountability, and it requires the right environment around you. And if you've taken the time to be on this call, I would suggest to you that you are probably deserving of a brokerage that invests in the same level of growth, one that is providing the systems of training and the real operational support on an ongoing basis. You deserve that leadership. You deserve a leader that is actively helping you to build a business that is sustainable, scalable, and rooted in relationships, because those are the only ones that are going to survive this prolonged downturn in the Ontario market. So if you're an agent anywhere in Ontario, regardless of your production level, your team size, or the stage of your career, I would love to have a conversation with you about how Signature Elite can support you in building a referral-based business that is both predictable and resilient. I know we've got a ton of people that will watch later from right across North America. These are our referral partners. Thank you, thank you, thank you for spending your time with us. The professionals you see here at Signature Elite are the very best in Ontario. We are deeply committed to systems and service at the very highest level. And as always, we are so honored for all of the referrals that you send here to us in Ontario. We will take excellent care of your clients from wherever they are coming from, with a high level of due diligence and professionalism, the same that that you would extend to your own clients. So I did promise you a preview of what's happening next month. Signature Systems Masterclass next month. An invitation is going to be sent to everyone who's on this call, is going to focus on our sold to close checklist. So this will again be hosted by Cole Bartel. It is building on last month's session, moving from CMA to listing successfully. We're going to be unpacking how to structure your duplication dialogue, implementing scalable systems that allow your clients to feel supported at an entirely different level from what you've already been able to provide them with in terms of excellent service, while you and your sales team are freed up to move on and achieve even greater production. And I'm really excited to share that with you. So, everyone, thank you for being here. Caitlin, thank you for your time. Dave, I'm grateful for your technical support as always. And for all of our agents, thanks for being here. Keep building, keep refining. If anyone has a question, happy to answer them for you. Oh, I love this. Thank you, Kat. Love you too. All right, guys, no questions. If there's anything I can do, please feel free to reach out, everyone. Take care.
Thanks, everyone.